What is going on today, YouTube? Today we are going to talk about index funds, and I'm just going to briefly, easily explain what they are and what you need to know while you're choosing your fund. Now, for the simplicity of this video, we're only going to look at Vanguard funds. There are other companies out there that have these index funds, but we're going to stay on one website and easily explain what they are. Okay, so if you're just going on Vanguard, you can Google Vanguard index funds and this whole list will come up, and you can see 130 matching funds. The list goes on for a while, and it can be overwhelming. You don't really know what you're looking for, you don't know what this is, and a lot of people will come in right here and just give up. Well, guess what? Take 5 minutes, watch this video, and you can learn a lot, and then you can actually intelligently pick what fund you're going to go invest in. So the first thing we're going to look at, when I have this sorted at the top, I have it sorted by asset class. Not by fund name, I like to look at the asset class. So you can see there's titles here: money market funds, taxable, taxes exempt, U.S. bond funds, balanced funds, U.S. stock funds, international bond funds, international stock funds, and sector specialty funds. Okay, those are the different categories. So if you're looking, depending on what you're looking for, if you're looking for a money market fund, if you're looking for a bond, or if you're looking for a stock, you can break it down into that. And yes, the bottom you can see you can go to international stock funds or U.S. stock funds, and these are just different variations of, are you owning companies inside the U.S. or are you owning companies outside the U.S.? Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, for the purpose of this video, we are just going to focus on U.S. stock market funds. So we're going to scroll down. U.S. stock funds. Now, you can go into the subcategories. Large cap, which are just the largest companies that the U.S. has to offer. Mid cap, it's pretty self-explanatory. Middle cap, they're just the most valuable middle companies in the U.S. And small cap, so these are the most valuable smaller companies inside the U.S. Now, for the large cap, these are pretty much, they're representing like the S&P 500. That's a very easy way to go about it. Think about it and look at it. And if you look down here, VTSAX, it is a large cap blend. So this particular company right here replicates the S&P 500, owns a lot of the major companies, and that's what this is all about. Now, you can scroll through and actually look at these. You can look high dividend yield. Dividends are just, they pay you every month, so it's going to be a diversified portfolio of companies that pay high dividends. Equity income, dividend growth. The companies in the U.S. right now, they're really growing their dividends, dividend appreciation, 500 index. Okay, so now that we broke it down into the large cap stocks, we're going to compare U.S. growth and total stock market index. To break this even down farther, U.S. growth is going to be the most valuable companies in the United States, hence the large cap. They are already companies that are established, and this would be, I mean, you can click on it and see what their top holdings are. So like U.S. growth, top holdings. It's going to be large United States companies that they own inside this fund. And since this is a growth fund investor shares, you're going to go down and you can see the portfolio composition. So this is what is owned inside of this fund. And you can see the percentage breakdown. So communication, 15%. Information technology is going to be their highest holdings inside this portfolio. And if you look over to here, they own 160 stocks, total fund net assets $9.9 billion. Foreign holdings, which, yeah, it's a large cap, but they can still have foreign in this one. But here is the breakdown. These are the top 10 most held companies inside this fund. So you're owning a little bit of Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, MasterCard, United Health, PayPal, Visa, International Exchange, IQVIA, and Apple. So instead of you going out and personally buying a share of Microsoft, 3 shares of Amazon, 4 shares of United Health, 5 shares of Visa, etc., any kind of mix-up of those, this fund is already doing that for you. It's holding you shares of all these companies, so you don't have to personally go out, buy each of these yourself, and it can save you a lot of money that way because, I mean, right now, I think a share of Amazon's like $1,600, $1,700, where If you buy this, yes, your minimum investment has to be $3,000, but you are getting a share of a lot of different companies. Okay, so we're going to go back. Now that you know where to look inside when you click on these and what it's going to show you their holding, it's going to show you everything else, but you can tell a lot of information off this front screen. Now, this is the original screen that we started on, okay? We're going to look at both of these across the board before we click on them to compare them. Expense ratio, that is something else you really, really want to look into. See, total stock market, Vanguard, is 0.04%, and U.S. growth is 0.42%. So this is what you are paying them to pretty much, in a way, manage your holdings. They will go off on their own and they will personally buy more of a company, buy less of a, sell some of a company instead of you doing it for you. They will readjust their portfolio to keep it tracking like the S&P 500 in a sense. So anytime you can find something with the lowest fees, that's better for you as long as it is performing pretty well. And we'll see when we go to the next screen, but 0.04% expense ratio compared to 0.42%. No, that does not sound like a lot, but you'll see in the next screen that even though right here, year to date, even the 10-year mark, U.S. growth has returned about 15.64%, where VTSAX in a 10-year period has returned about 14.57. And since inception, U.S. growth has been around a lot longer than the total stock market index because it just came about in 2000, where this is 1959. So this was around right when the market crashed from 2000, 2002, 2008, and so forth. So in a way, since inception, this shows like it is really outperforming VTSAX. But I bet if VTSAX was around for as long as VWUSX has, they probably would have around the same returns since inception. And this is an annual return, so yearly return average. Through all the ups, through all the downs, they're returning 10.48% per year, where VTSAX is performing at a rate of 6.61% per year. And you can even break it down year to date since January 2018 to December 2018. See the difference, 4.55, 10.71. So U.S. growth has vastly outperformed VTSAX this year. On a 1-year basis, on a 5-year basis, they're about the same, and on a 10-year basis, they're about the same. So, looks to me like if you're going to be in for a long term, why not pay the least amount of expenses and get about the same amount of returns? But this is up to you. This is the part where you guys get to make your decisions. And you can go through and look at all these different funds. The biggest thing you need to look at is the expense ratio and the since inception returns. If they started around the same year, but this one, see, it's a good 40 years off, 41 years off. So I wouldn't really look at this number too much. I'd mostly look at that 5-year return, 10-year return, because if you're a long-term investor buying these index funds, you are going to be in for more than 10 years. You're probably going on like a 20, 30-year basis. All right, so for that, we're going to go to compare them now. We're going to compare the U.S. growth and total stock market. I already had this up, so I didn't have to click on it, but all you would do is you click on U.S. growth, click on total stock market index. I don't know how many you can compare at the same time, but you go down, click these, and then click compare. And it's going to take you over to this screen. Now, this is for hypothetical. You put in $10,000 and you can change it from 1, 3, 5, 10 years. So at $10,000 over the last 10 years, since November 08, your $10,000 would have turned into a little more than $40,000. In the U.S. growth, you would have returned 42,781, and in the total stock market index, you would have returned 38,965. So now you can actually go in and look at these. So now, see the biggest difference in these expense ratios. All you have to do is go into Google and type in how to compare expense ratios. One of the first things that come up is Vanguard Compare Fund Costs Tool. Click on it. Now you're going to have to go through a little bit of choosing the two funds you want to compare, but you can even select a fund family on here. You can go through a lot of different index funds out there. Like I said, Vanguard is not the only one, but we're going to use Vanguard for this video. So Vanguard, continue. Vanguard Fund. You have to go back and figure out what the names are of the two funds you are trying to compare. But for this video, we're going to U.S. Growth Fund Admiral, Vanguard, continue. And this other Vanguard fund, we're going to go to the U.S. Total Stock Market Index, ADM. Continue. Now, 10,000 over 20-year period, average annual return. We'll just do the return the average of 9.83 per year. So we'll go here, type in 9.83. If you want to be more conservative, type in 8%, something, anything. You can type in 4%, whatever you want. It'll show you the same thing. So now your data comes up. Inside both funds, you invested that $10,000 amount for a time horizon of 20 years. Now remember that 0.04% and that 0.42%? Look at the difference it makes. So the total stock market one, the one with the least amount of fees, after the costs. So after those percentages are taken out, and this is compounded, it's reinvested in dividends, all that good stuff, you come out with about $3,000 more than with the total. This is the growth fund, so this is the one with the higher expense ratio. It's going to be the 0.42, and the one with the lesser expense ratio, the 0.04%, returns $64,000. So in the end, you can see if you're in the market for a long time, those fees do matter. They don't really look like much of a difference, but I mean that's about 10 times greater fees. So over a period of 20 years, yeah, I mean it's not a huge amount, but $3,000 off of just a $10,000 investment. Imagine if that was like a $100,000 investment. You can even look back, and I know you're probably not going to put in $100,000 at one time, but over time you could be putting in that much. And this is where you're really going to start noticing your fees. Look at that. $647,000 to $614,000. So this is why it's important to pay attention to these fees. Now you're going into the realm of about over $30,000 difference. So what I want you guys to do, I want you guys to go on here, compare a couple of these funds, and post down below. Post down in the comments if you have any questions about them, and say, hey, what I compared, what I found out, what I came to realize if, even though these fees were only that much of a difference, and it looks like it's returning a lot better it looks like it's having a lot better returns than this other fund. Well, those fees really add up over time, and I don't think it's worth it. Maybe I do get better returns, but those fees just add up. And you have to remember too, the longer you're in, the more balanced this is going to be. We're doing it for a 20-year period. And just looking, I found out I did select the wrong one when I was going to compare these. I can tell because this expense ratio is 0.3%, where that one that I said we checked earlier is 0.42. So regardless though, you still get the point of this video. The fees do matter. We can even change this to 0.42. We'll do recalculate, and we'll do it for 20 years. So now you can see it's almost a $50,000 mark, just raising that fees from 0.3% to 0.42%. So when you're really looking at these, you really need to look at the fees and figure out what's associated with it. So yeah, if you want to do something, go down, put in the comments what you found out if you went and tried to use this tool. If you have any questions about using it, post down below too. I'll gladly answer them. If you like this video and it helped you out, leave a like on it. And if you like videos like this, subscribe to my channel. And I will see you in the next video.